Hello everyone, welcome to MinseyCrafts. I am Minna and I am your host on this channel. I know I've not been posting any content in quite a long while, but there's been life has happened essentially. I've been struggling with the seasonal affective disorder, winter blues, a little bit, and then we had an incident in early on in November where one of the older dog, she had her paw injured, where she got a cut on the side of her paw, and it required stitches and veterinary visits and whole loads of things like that. And obviously, when things like that happen, it's never a good time. But my husband was also out of town for some work travel for a few weeks at the time, and so it just like added. It was somehow I got really stressed about it. I think because we have the other dog who was perfectly fine, and but she still needs her walks. She's a young pup, gonna be 3 next March, and so I just felt really stressed out about leaving the older dog home alone, and trying to manage her, like not get at the paw, to lick it and make it worse. And it was just like, just thinking about it still makes me like kind of like gives me anxiety. But luckily it's all better now, and she's the paw is healed. It took like 3 weeks actually to for it to be like that we could take her out in mud without like her having to wear like this horrible boot on to protect it from getting wet. And it was it was one of those times in life where you just kind of think that like how do I manage this? But I have a lot more respect for people who manage children, pets, and their own lives on the side. Like I couldn't manage one injured dog, another dog, and work life, and husband out of town. So it was well, anyways, that's over now, and I am going to get into this episode 13, and I have quite a few updates to share with you, well, actually even finished objects. So let's get to that then. And to remind you that I'm not sponsored by any of the brands that I'm going to be talking about here. And I will of course link all the yarns and patterns that I will share with you here down in the description box. And all right, let's get to the project updates. So like I said, I have had time to finish quite a few projects since I last posted, and I'm quite sure I have not shown you the dog bed. So I think if you have followed me, it was probably like a few episodes back. I had started to crochet with like super chunky yarn. This Yarnsmiths Pet Cocoon bed with this yarn called Snug as a Bug Big. This was by Yarnsmiths. It is let me just find it here. 300 grams and 36 meters. It's 100% polyester. And when I saw this dog bed pattern, I was like really smitten by it, and I thought that would be a really fun project to knit, not knit, I mean crochet. And let me just double check in my notebook here. So I completed that in September, and I used a 15 millimeter hook for that. I believe I did show you how ridiculous that was to work with. But all right, let's get to it. I will show you this beauty, and I am also happy to tell you the dogs love this. They really like to sleep on it. And so here we go. So this is it. It's not quite the cocoon style. It's also not quite the So our older dog is a little bit bigger Labrador, so this is maybe a little bit small for her, but she still loves to sleep on this. And my husband says that it's because she knows that Mama made it with love, and obviously I made it with love. The young dog also, she likes to sleep on this. It's not quite the cocoon shape, as you can see. We ordered on Amazon one of those like memory foam fillings, so you can get different sizes ordered from there, and this was also a little bit thicker. So we decided to go for a bit higher spec and better quality filling because the older dog, she also has some arthritis issues. We suspect, we don't know for sure, but we suspect that, and so that this would be a little bit better for her. Now, so the pattern said to you that it would take 5 balls in color A, which is this dark blue, and color B, which is the 3 balls in the color B, which is the this warm light gray on the side you can see here. And so actually this dark blue side is supposed to be the bottom, but it's the top now, because what happened was that I did not win in the yarn chicken, as you can see now. And I thought that, well, I'm not going to order another ball of yarn just for this small amount here. And what I ended up doing is finding my thickest, chunkiest yarns and just like holding multiple strands of it together until it became like about the thickness of this Snug as a bug big, and just finished this, and I decided this is going to be the underside of the bed, and I think it worked out fine. It holds it together, and no one's the wiser, and the dogs have not complained. So there you go. I do think this is a nice project. I am quite very pleased with it myself, and it was fun as well, even though it was a bit of like a real athletic challenge to make this, but yet I really enjoyed it. Now I would say that actually for the end price of making this dog bed, even though I purchased the yarn on the introductory sale when it came out, and then combined with the premium filling, as we might call it actually, the final price for this is like any premium dog bed would be, but hopefully this will last a long time for them. And I think that the dog bed pattern was it was quite clear to follow. It just involved a lot of counting stitches, and it wasn't always easy to count them because the yarn is very like fluffy, and so it wasn't. It was a little bit blurred to see where all the stitches were, but overall, because it was very quick to make, it was tolerable from the counting perspective, because I counted the stitches every row that I went around, and so it was. I thought it was pretty easy to make, and like I said, very fun, and it is also rewarding to see that the dogs like it. The next project I finished is called Pane Scarf by Adrienne Lash for YlloTyll, and this was a free pattern I found on Lovecrafts, maybe, I think. I'll have to double check that, and I'll post that link on in the description box below. So I really liked the look of this, and I had purchased some 4-ply mini skein yarn from the local retired yarn dyer who I know through someone. I think there's a dog here in my mouth now, having had the bed in my lap. So she, I knew her. So I know her through someone in the village that I live in, and so I purchased some of this yarn from her in mini skeins, and I made the window pane scarf with that, and unfortunately it is very hard to show it, so I'll just wear it to show it. So this is kind of like my new Christmas scarf, I guess I would say, probably because of the red color on the one end. And I sort of like wanted it to be so sort of kind of like a fade set, like it wasn't probably, I don't know if it was intended to be a fade set, but the colors I purchased, but I just made it into kind of like this, and I think that this turned out really pretty, and it is truly kind of like window panes, little windows here, all these. Now this pattern is so this is crochet, and I thought the pattern was quite, so it's really simple, and this was very quick to make as well. So the pattern is quite simple. The only thing that I did not manage to make how the pattern instructed was that every third row, when you are making this like the window pane kind of row, and it says that where does it say it now? So that that row always begins with a slip stitch prior to making the starting chain, and it says here that this anchors your starting chain to the center of the last stitch of the previous row, instead of letting the starting chain kind of hang off the edge. And so I tried doing that, and it makes sense to me in my head that it would like work, but it didn't work. Like I still don't exactly understand what happened. So as I tried doing that, I had to rip this up a few times because I just couldn't get it to go. So what happened to me was that it just kind of like started like skewing towards one way, and it like wouldn't stay straight edges like this. It was kind of like going wonky or crooked. So I just decided that I will omit that part and not do the slip stitch on that row, and it turned out just fine for me. Do let me know if you do make this pattern, or if you have made this pattern, if you managed to do that, and how did it actually like work for you, because I still don't understand what I did wrong. And could it just be that because I'm left-handed, could it be from being a left-handed crocheter? I don't know. I doubt. Maybe I just did something else wrong. But otherwise, this pattern is, like I said, super lovely, easy to follow, and very quick to make, and it's so beautiful. This is now all finished, weaved in the ends and blocked as well. The other thing, just to share with you guys, that I am not perfect. So I block this, and how I block most of my stuff is I put it into a wash bucket with a little bit of detergent just to like wash it properly. And so I left this in like lukewarm water, and my plan was that I'm just gonna go and do something a little bit over there, and then I'll come back very quickly. You probably guessed already what happened. So I forgot it, and I come back like maybe like close to an hour later, and obviously this red dye yarn had bled into the water, and I think that this is supposed to be kind of like a purple white speckled, but I think that there's a little bit of like a pink tint to where it should be white, but I think that's fine, and maybe it will wash off then when I wash it properly next time. I'm not sure though, we'll see. But that's I shall try not to make this mistake again. And consider when I'm using darker colors like this together with lighter colors, keep in mind not to forget your blocking bucket. Oh, and for the window pane scarf. So this was I kind of thought that the yarn I had was DK weight, but then it kind of felt like 4-ply, and I used the 3.5mm hook for making this. Now, luckily, I don't have much of this yarn left, and this was like pretty much everything I had for it, because for some reason this yarn base kept splitting, and I believe that this yarn, so if it is 4-ply, it should be 25% nylon and 75% superwash merino. And I have yet another finished object, and this is my shawl that I had knitted for quite a while. So this was called the Trekantssjal med lövmönster, and this pattern I purchased years ago from YlloTyll, which is a yarn shop in Uppsala, Sweden. So I lived there in Sweden, Uppsala, for a while in my life, actually on a few occasions, but that's a different story. So this shawl is now completely finished. It's been washed and blocked, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. Now, I'm not usually I don't go for pink color. Okay, let's say this year has been somehow very pink for me, but we all change probably throughout our lifetimes. But I quite like this color. It's the shawl. It's very beautiful, and you can see the pattern, the leaf pattern there. It's just gorgeous, I think. And this yarn that I knitted this with is also just so lovely. So I used this yarn from Eden Cottage Yarns. This is unfortunately now discontinued, but it was called Ashcam Lace, so it's very thin and fine. This color is called Dianthus, and it is 70% baby alpaca and 30% silk. So it came as a 100-gram ball or skein, and it had 800 meters in it. And let me just double check in my notebook again. I keep notes. I'm sure that everyone else keeps notes as well of their, here we go. So I knitted this with the 3.5mm circular needle, so it's knitted flat back and forth, and this took off the 100-gram skein ball. The only thing about this pattern is that sometimes I find it hard to tell which one is the right side and which one is the wrong side, so I have to always double check. So yes, I was saying that for this size it took 77 grams of the 100 grams, so this much is left still. And this pattern was very easy to follow because it is a pay-for pattern. I will not go in much detail, just maybe show you quickly that it came as a kind of a diagram, and this was I think actually as a diagram is really nice to follow, and especially being a left-handed knitter, because then all those decreases and increases, you can see the direction. It kind of like makes sense in my head for me. And this one took quite a while to knit actually. So I started it on the 7th of July, and I finished it on March. Sorry, I'm reading reading my Finnish notes. I keep my crafting diary mostly in Finnish. Well, it's kind of like a mix of languages at this point. So I finished it on 3rd of November, so in this year, and so it took me quite a few months, 4 months to finish this, and I will be wearing this going to town to work, and just having it. Oh yeah, it's been quite the quite the horrible weather here, and it's been I've weaved in the ends, but this kind of like in the wash it kind of pulled out, so I just need to clip this back to a shirt again, and I'm sure that it will stay in there. So it's been quite the horrible weather today, like cold, rain, and just not very lovely. And for my next finished object, so despite me perhaps feeling like I've not been super productive in the last couple months, it's clearly I have been doing something. So the next project, this is a free pattern as well, and I believe I found this one on Ravelry, but I will again link this. So this one's called Bel Cloche hat. I think that's how it might be pronounced. And this is designed by Karina Spencer in 2009, looks like it. And this is quite another fun pattern. So you can get it in different sizes for the for a toddler, child, adult, and adult XL. And I knitted the large size, adult XL size, because my head, I guess, is a little bit large on the large side. And I will show you how this looks like, because it is completely finished. So this here, I am a real sucker for hats, by the way, in case you haven't noticed, and also shawls and scarves and like any kind of accessories. Just I love them. So this is also again pink. Like you can see that my there's something this year going on with me and pink color. So I knitted this in a worsted weight yarn. This I purchased also from the local retired yarn dyer, and this is 100% merino wool. I used let me just double check, 5mm needles, and so this is knitted from the top down, and I used a disappearing loop cast on. So what that is you make a kind of a loop and then knit a few stitches around that, and then start knitting around, and you will then tighten the yarn end at some point later, so that it like closes up, like so that you can kind of like see it there. And then there were like all these increases worked in, and for the main body of the hat I used this pink worsted weight yarn, but then I was a little bit concerned that I might not have enough yarn, and there's this kind of so there's like an eyelet band, it's called, in the pattern, and you can also make this without this eyelet band, but I wanted to have this little accessory here, and so I knitted that in yarn. This is another worsted weight yarn that I purchased this summer. It's from Nervous Fiber. It's colorway Cemetery Drive, and this is 90% merino and 10% linen yarn, and this is also worsted weight. It's very beautiful and lovely, this yarn as well. The worsted weight yarn from that I had purchased from the person I know around here, this it was really lovely to knit with, like absolutely didn't split like the other one I had. So here we go. Then I ended up having, like you can see, I would have had enough yarn for this eyelet band anyways, but oh well, I think it's lovely like this. So I knitted this I-cord band to then put it in here, and I fastened this kind of like a knot. I don't know if I could redo this knot again if I had to. I watched a couple of videos on YouTube by I think the channel name was Why Not. So he makes knots with like actual like cord, and I think there's supposed to be some things that you would use for, I don't know, going camping or something to tie your tent down. But I just kind of watched those, and then I eventually came up with this kind of a design. I personally think it's pretty, and I'm happy with that. And let's try the hat on. So this is how it looks like, and I really like hats that come like kind of like cover my eyes like this. I really quite like. This is how the side looks like, and so I could have probably knitted the body of the hat a little bit shorter, but I like this. Like I said, I like it when it comes kind of low like this, and it is the perfect size as well. So I'm quite happy with that. I was quite worried. So I find hats tricky for the gauge. I knitted a 10 square for this before I started, because I have learned through many hats that I had to rip up and then start again, that I have to check that. And this one turned out perfect from the first go. So I really like this, and I like the color. There we go. So the pattern itself, I think, is very it's pretty easy to follow. There were maybe a few spots here where I was a little bit it could have explained a little bit further, like how you continue. But then after I figured out it was from the very beginning with the increases primarily, it all went really well. And then again, there's make one left and make one right increases. So as a left-handed knitter, I had to reverse the direction for those because of the direction I knit compared to a right-handed knitter. So that's something that any left-handed knitter should always keep in mind. I do have some ongoing projects as well right now. So I've been working on for a few months, I think, actually, on these socks. So this is West Yorkshire Spinner's signature 4-ply yarn. This is colorway Pheasant. So this is actually, like, I really like their signature 4-ply yarn. This is the 75% wool and 25% nylon sock yarn, and it contains 35% blue-faced Leicester sheep wool, and it's just absolutely lovely. And I really like how the color turns out. These have not been blocked yet, and I still need to weave in the ends, and I'll just do that maybe in the next week, and as I have time. These are socks for myself, and I think what I will do with these is, because it's so close to Christmas, I will save these as my new Christmas socks, and so then on the Christmas Eve I can have lovely new socks to wear. And I used 2.5mm needles for these. For myself, I do usually a 16, so it's 64 stitches in a round for my size, and that turns out just right with the 2.5mm needles. And the yarn, this yarn I purchased from Ready Steady Knit, my local yarn shop. I think this has actually been sitting in my stash for a couple of years, so I'm not quite sure why I haven't used it sooner, but it's lovely anyways, very lovely. I totally recommend the knitting socks with this, and I also recommend very much visiting Ready Steady Knit if you are in the neighborhood. I have also started knitting a sweater, and yet again it has pink color in it, if you can see. There we go. I'm filming this in the evening, so there's really none of the natural daylight. So this is a Drops Design pattern called Morning Dawn. It's going to be the sweater pattern. They have also a cardigan for the version for this. I'm making the sweater mostly because, while I'm not like really don't care about whether the stripes match on this kind of a variegated yarn. But for some reason I don't fancy having a cardigan where the stripes are going to be a lot thicker on the front sides, and it's going to be kind of harder to match as well compared to the back of the sweater. So this is knitted in from bottom up and in pieces, like you can tell. The yarn that I'm using for this is yarn that's been sitting in my stash now almost 10 years. Okay, maybe only 8 years. So even before we moved into the village that we're in here right now, I ordered this yarn from Wool Warehouse. The purpose actually was originally I was gonna knit woolly leggings with this yarn, and which is why back then I chose this kind of like a out of character yarn, because I was thinking that, well, it's going to be for like a leggings, so it doesn't really matter, like let's try something that's out of character for me. And but since then I've been able to find like long johns or leggings that are woolly from commercial suppliers, and so I kind of didn't have the need to make those anymore, but I still have this yarn. I have a lot of it, so I was kind of thinking that, well, okay, I have enough yarn to knit a sweater with this. And then I had really hard time also to like visualize how this colorway would look in the sweater. And so then I did what any sensible person probably would do then, is go and look on Drops Design website for if they've made a sweater with this yarn, and lo and behold they had. So I got very lucky, and I'm making that exact pattern because I actually quite liked it as well, and there shouldn't be any surprises on how it looks. Now I have also this, so this is Drops Fable, and do I have the I don't have the label with me at the moment, but so this is a 4-ply yarn. Essentially, it's a 50-gram ball, and there's 200 meters in that. This is knitted together with Drops Design kid silk mohair, kid silk, and so it makes this like beautiful, like a kind of a fluffy textured yarn, and it also softens up this color quite a bit, I think, and I think that's quite beautiful. If you can see how close up how it would look then. So I very much like how this looks and how it's turning out, and I'm making a dent in my stash, which is always good. This I'm knitting with, let me just double check, 5.5 millimeter needles for the body of the sweater, and it was 4.5 for the ribbing down here. So I still have ways to go with this. I think this is right now up to where I start with the arm decreases, and then and this is for the back side as well. So so it will then go up, and it's gonna have it's designed to have more like positive ease on it, so that's why it's a little bit bigger, but that's fine with me. I like it that way, or this pattern design I think is very good for that, so I like this. Yes, exciting, many exciting works in progress. And I will just lastly quickly show you. So I knitted a cowl for myself in August, a quick project, and I had yarn that my husband had selected. This is by Yarn Unique, and it is Silky Yak DK. So it's 60% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 20% yak. And this, oh my god, this yarn is so amazing. Like, I think I raved about this back when I knitted that cowl for myself, but it's just so beautiful. And the color, it's so vibrant, so deep and so rich, and I quite like green color. The more earthy tones are not perhaps my like I wouldn't spontaneously go for that, but it looks really nice. And this is how far I've come. This is a cowl for my husband, so it's the exactly same pattern. Tin Can Knits simple yet effective cowl, and this is going to be a Christmas present. It's not a secret, for my husband, and so we can have matching cowls, and then we can go for a walk together, be all flashy with our matching cowls, and isn't that cute? So yes, this is very beautiful, and I really just like how this color knits up, and oh my goodness, so beautiful. Oh, yeah, I think that's everything I have going on right now. Okay, that was not everything I have going on. I've been working on this Christmas cross stitch pattern. It is of a snowman, and I am perhaps halfway through with it. I've not stitched in the white color yet, because I was gonna save that for last, because I was thinking that if I have any like smudges in my fingers, the white yarn is gonna get smudgy and dirty, so that's why I was gonna leave that for last. Now what I have found out is that either I've not pulled the stitches tight enough, or I've somehow wasted yarn somewhere, or a thread, because I don't have enough of this light gray. So this came as a kit that I purchased. It was just a few pounds on the sale. I purchased this from Ready Steady Knit, and so I'm kind of on the hunt for this kind of a light color cross stitch yarn. I don't know if it's my fault that I've done something wrong, or whether it was just miscalculated by the kit. So that's it for my updates and news and everything. Now I think I'm starting to slowly get over my my winter blues, even though it is miserable and dark here. I kind of wish that it would snow here, because it makes it so much lighter. But then also it would be not great, because it's just not the country is not prepared for snow in here. But so yeah, I think that's everything, and I kind of feel like I should be. I feel more energetic now already. I think I am trying to enjoy the daylight as much as I can, and whenever if it's sunny during the day, I try to soak up the sunshine and just like get more of natural light like that. And I do think that that's like has been helping me. So I do think that I am gonna try and put out more content a little bit more regularly than I've done now. Of course, like any life situations pending, fingers crossed, and hopefully no more accidents with the dog. I have closed a door because I was hoping to film this fairly quickly, so without any distractions from the dogs today. Well, yes, thank you for watching, and happy holiday season, waiting for the Christmas. And yes, if you found anything useful, you enjoyed watching this, enjoyed seeing my updates and learning about the different patterns that I've been knitting lately, like the video and also subscribe, because that's always, it helps me as a content creator to keep doing this. And yes, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Bye.